words have been the most powerful, yet so catastrophic narrative that has happened in our world in its present time.
We have been blinded, not from ourselves, but from the truth of the different situations endured by the unspeakable beings. Although we may perceive our ecosystem as a paradise within our eyes, but we can never see the dreadful incidents behind it. It was always beyond our reach to make a change, to restore what was lost, and to reclaim what was taken. However, the adverse in the opposite has been done. Extinction may be a natural phenomenon and occurrence just like the flow of carbon cycle within our surroundings. But without our assistance to speak and to make a move, extinction escalates extensively and the carbon cycle begins to progress disruptively. Now we stand by the choices: speak for ourselves or speak for the unspeakable.
Now, start off, what are invasive species? By definition, it is an introduced organism within an ecosystem that harms its new environment. It is known that invasive species cause extinction. Are you familiar with that? Now, extinction in turn results in huge changes within an ecosystem, altering most of how things work. Now, an example of how huge this changes an ecosystem is when Asian carps were brought into Europe and America. They took food away from native species and preyed on their eggs as well. Their appetite and the fact that they reproduce quickly brought a huge change to its new environment, a harmful change, considering that the living conditions within lake and riverbeds were changed drastically. Another example would be water hyacinths, something that you may be familiar with. They are native to the Amazon basin as well as Southern America, but then introduced to Africa, Asia, and others. Now similarly, though it was introduced as a decorative plant, it quickly grew and clogged rivers, resulting in the decline of aquatic life within that area. To add on, they also blocked sunlight and oxygen away from other plants beneath the water. Now, all of this led to a huge change within the ecosystem. Now, considering that you now know what invasive species are, this brings in the question, are we invasive? Now, in my opinion, technically speaking, invasive species are widespread, a quality that the human race has so in some way, which then equates to us being invasive. Now, what about you? What do you think about that question?
What is carbon cycle? Carbon is a necessary component of life on Earth. Carbon molecules such as lipids and proteins are found in every living organism cells. The carbon cycle demonstrates how carbon atoms may exist in various compounds and be recycled between living beings and the environment. So for the carbon cycle steps, step 1, entry of carbon into the atmosphere. Carbon enters the atmosphere as carbon dioxide from respiration and combustion. Step 2, carbon dioxide absorbed by producers. Carbon dioxide is absorbed by producers to make carbohydrates in photosynthesis. Step 3, passing the carbon compound in the food chain. The carbon molecules assimilation into the food chains where plants are the producers follow the preceding phase. Carbon compounds are consumed by animals when they ingest these plants. Step 4, return of the carbon to the atmosphere. Dead organisms are eaten by decomposers and carbon in their bodies is returned to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide.
Among the challenges to the resilience of ecosystems are invasions by non-native species. Whether introduced intentionally or accidentally, these species become established and negatively impact native biodiversity, as well as the ecosystems that play a role in helping us combat climate change. According to zoologist and researcher Zhang Xiaoqiu, invasive species can promote carbon sequestration, or the capturing and storing of carbon dioxide in soils and plant tissues. But they also increase the level of nitrous oxide, which has a much powerful effect in warming the atmosphere, evident in Morella faya or fire trees. Invasive animals can alter the carbon cycle by too much destruction of native plants and dominating over native animals who regulates carbon emission. Insects like the emerald ash borer kill millions of trees that play a major role in climate change. Feral swines eat up too much native plants and disturb the soil carbon storage. Lastly, humans are not excused from affecting the carbon cycle. Our carbon footprint grew significantly throughout the years and it does not show signs of slowing down. Air pollution from cars and factories, as well as cutting down forests, are just some of the things that humans are guilty for.
Humans are known to be responsible for most greenhouse gases emission in the atmosphere, may it be intentional or not. One of which is the burning of fossil fuel, which humans use for energy generation. Most of the carbon immediately enters the atmosphere as carbon dioxide gas when humans burn fossil fuels to power factories, cars, and power plants. 5.5 billion tons of carbon is released by burning fossil fuels every year. From the said huge amount, 3.3 billion tons stay in the atmosphere. The amount is already greater than at any time in the last 3.6 million years. Consequently, the activity significantly contributes to global warming and climate change as carbon dioxide traps heat in the atmosphere.
A gene has a unique sequence to make a protein that does something to your body. A genetic mutation is a change in one or more parts of a sequence. This could just make you, or it could contribute to a genetic disease. An epigenetic change also changes a gene's DNA, but not at the sequence level. Instead, special marks are added or removed that might change how a protein works in the body, and this could also contribute to disease. A genetic mutation is difficult to fix. With epigenetics, we could take a different approach to treating disease by finding ways to remove bad epigenetic marks or add good ones. We need to fight the spread of invasive species. And there are different ways to fight invasive species. We need to prevent them from occurring in the first place. And anyone can help stop the introduction and spread of invasive species. We encourage everyone to help protect native plants and animals.